Hello everyone and welcome back to Matriarch Astrology. Now as you can see, I am dressed for the occasion here. We are going to be talking about the paranormal and hauntings in a birth chart. Now we are going to be talking about how certain planets, aspects, and houses can reveal the potential for ghostly encounters. So if you are curious about paranormal experiences, or if you have experienced something paranormal or any type of haunting, you want to go ahead and stick around for this video. Now I just want to make it clear that in this video I'm only going to be talking about paranormal experiences and hauntings and not much on psychic abilities and mediumship, although the two can easily intertwine with one another. I do want to let you guys know that I do have another video that I will be creating on psychic abilities within the birth chart and mediumistic abilities as well, but that will be in another video. So these specific astrological placements will just highlight a sensitivity or a potential to experience paranormal activity or ghostly phenomena rather than psychic gifts. Now in astrology, when we're looking at these type of topics, there are three key houses that I will be looking at, which is the 12th house, the 8th house, and the 4th house. So let's talk first about the 12th house. Now the 12th house is associated with the subconscious, hidden realms, and the unseen. So if you have strong placements here, or if you have any transits to the 12th house, especially like the planets Neptune, Pluto, or Uranus, then you may be more prone to experiencing more paranormal activities in specific places that have unresolved history or deaths, especially in certain places like hospitals, or if you work in hospice, because I have seen a lot of YouTube videos and a couple of TikToks on people giving their hospice stories. So with the 12th house, for example, let's say you have Neptune in the 12th house. With this placement, you may feel ghostly apparitions or feel the presence of spirits in subtle ways, especially if it comes to what you're experiencing in your dream state, because Neptune also rules the dream realm. So you may also get experiences or get visitations from past loved ones, or feel the presence of spirits in a subtle way, or altered states of consciousness. I do not have this placement natally, but I have it transiting, so it's similar, and I have had a lot of experiences when it comes to dreams and having ghost visitations through dreams, but I will talk about that when I get to transits. Next up, we have the 8th house. Now the 8th house is known for governing death, transformation, and the occult. The 8th house could be tied to spirits with unfinished business. So let's say you have Mars or Pluto in the 8th. Here you may experience more intense or dramatic paranormal events. And these events can often be linked to places of death or trauma. So with the 8th, this might be a house where people may experience the more darker side of paranormal activities, such as violent or residual hauntings. Next up, we have the 4th house. And the 4th house represents the home, ancestry, as well as the past. Now, if there is strong activity in this house, especially from planets like Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, with these planets you may experience hauntings in your home, especially if it's tied to your family lineage. So paranormal activity could be tied to something that's unresolved within the lineage, such as ancestral spirits, or even just spirits tied to the land. Now let's break down the planets that can amplify or trigger paranormal experiences within the chart. So there are certain planets that are more likely to be sensitive to these otherworldly energies. So the first one I would like to talk about would be the planet of Pluto. Now Pluto governs intensity, death, and rebirth. Now when Pluto is active either by placement or by transit, it can bring transformative paranormal experiences, such as spirits attempting to pass on messages to their loved ones, or just spirits lingering in liminal places such as hospitals. Now I know I mentioned that with the 12th house, but also the 8th house as well, because that is a place where death mostly occurs there, but the 12th house is also institution. So 8th and 12th are very similar, although not the same, but they're very similar. And I do want to add in really quickly, just a side note, the 6th house, because the 6th house could be your day-to-day work and experiencing things at work. So let's say the ruler of the 12th or the 8th is in the 6th house, and let's say it's like Pluto or Neptune or Uranus, you could have these otherworldly experiences at work. The next planet I want to talk about is the planet of the one and only Neptune. Now, Neptune dissolves the boundaries and blurs the lines between our world and the spirit world. So if you have a really strong Neptune placement, let's say if Neptune is conjunct your moon or your sun, you may be more likely to see or feel ghosts. I have this conjunction personally in my chart with my sun, very tightly aspected, so I have had paranormal experiences myself. I also have other indications in the chart that point to those things, but I feel like my Sun Neptune is very big when it comes to my experiences with the paranormal and my experiences a lot with astral projection and just sleep and things with sleep. So with Neptune, I would also say to be very mindful of your states when you're sleeping, and you might have experiences or visitations as well in the dream world. Even with these type of aspects, even if it's a square, it's still touching. So we're gonna have conjunction, trine, or sextile. But I will get further into that in another video, so I'm not gonna be diving very deep into aspects in this one because I am leaving that for the paranormal, or I'm leaving that for the psychic video. And the next one we have is the planet of Uranus. So Uranus is very sudden, unexpected. I know the saying with Uranus goes, it's like the lightning that strikes and you don't know where it's going to strike or when. It's as sudden as that. So if Uranus or Neptune is in the 8th or 4th, be prepared for some sudden and unexpected ghostly experiences. So let's say, for example, Uranus in the 4th, you could have paranormal experiences that have to do a lot with like electricity. So lights going out, turning off and on, things malfunctioning, TV switches on and off, your appliances are going off. That's very Uranus because Uranus is also linked to electricity. So those appliances and things like that might be the way that these paranormal experiences might manifest. Here are some transits to look out for when it comes to paranormal activity. If Pluto is transiting your 8th or 12th house, you could have intense paranormal experiences, especially if it is in places of death or transformation. It could be that you experience these things in a mental hospital, or even if you work, let's say, in a prison, because the 12th house also has to do with prisons. It's your institutions. Even though I did link it to 6th house as your day-to-day work, especially you have to look at a lot of other aspects in the chart, but that's just one manifestation if Pluto is transiting the 8th or 12th when it comes particularly to paranormal experiences. That could be one way that it will manifest itself. Oh, also graveyards. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that in there with the 8th house. You could have paranormal experiences just by visiting a graveyard. And this could be just as subtle as also having or feeling the presence of energies, or feeling the presence of something otherworldly around you. So it doesn't have to be that something intense is going to happen or something really, really bad or scary, because people can see Pluto as a little bit more of a scarier planet to deal with. So I'm not saying that you're going to experience for sure something terrifying. It could just be a little bit more intense, or the energy of that entity or spirit may have something intense tied to it, or died in a horrible way, something like that. So I don't want everybody to go all doom and gloom here. Next up, we have Neptune transiting the 4th and 12th house. So with Neptune, you're going to see more of this dream-like, not really able to know what you're seeing type of energy. It can be unclear sometimes with Neptune. So this can be when people often feel like they're encountering paranormal energies. It's very subtle, and this could be through dreams or seeing apparitions. So kind of like when we see shadows on the corner of our eye, or you look somewhere and something moves real quick. It's kind of like that. It's not really that you're able to focus in on it so much, but you do see it, or you can feel its presence, especially when it comes to Neptune. That might be the way that you experience it instead of something very direct and head on. Now, I have had Neptune transiting my 12th house, and it's about to leave as it goes into Aries next year. And I can attest to this, although I have a lot of other placements that I will talk about in another video linked to abilities to this type of spiritual world. However, since Neptune had transit, I had a lot of paranormal experiences. It doesn't matter which home I moved to. It's not in my 4th, it's been transiting in the 12th, but it has manifested a lot in my home and especially in dreams. When I go to a hotel, I've been to 2 so far, that I've had paranormal experiences in, and it's something where I feel the energy. I can't really pick up on what it is. That's at Neptune, where I'm not really sure what's going on, what energy is in there. It's kind of confusing, but it came to me in my dreams. So for example, one of the hotels that I stayed at, I went in and I just had this feeling that there's just something here, and I wasn't really sure how to feel about it. And then when I went to sleep, I had a dream of this thing, or this, it was like a woman that wanted me to stay in the hotel room. So in the dream, she was trying to tell me that she wanted me to stay, and she was trying to force me to stay. And I was aware, or I knew in the dream, that she was an energy that was lingering around and that she wanted me to stay in that room, and she kind of wanted to like captivate me there. And in the dream, she was trying to pull me in towards her. And I woke up and I was just like breathing really hard. And I was just like, okay, I knew that there was something in this room. But it was very crazy how she showed herself to me in the dream state with Neptune. That, along with a lot of other paranormal experiences that I've had in my home, with things moving, things being thrown down, also my computer screen completely shaking, like if somebody smacked the back of the computer with nobody home but me. So I've experienced a lot of these things through this Neptune transit. So the last thing I want to talk about is the conjunction, and particularly a conjunction between Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto to the rulers of the 12th house, the 8th house, and the 4th house. This can really heighten your sensitivity overall to the paranormal, making ghostly experiences more likely, especially during a specific transit to those rulers. I also forgot to mention, when I was talking about the houses, Pluto in the 4th house. Now, when it comes particularly to hauntings only, when we're talking about Pluto in the 4th house, this could be seen as having, again, with intensity that Pluto brings, that more intense type of hauntings, especially if there is a link to a death or tragedy that happened within the home. It could manifest itself as something more evidence-based, such as doors slamming, things shutting, things being thrown around. That's a little bit more intense than your, let's say, Neptunian energy, where you kind of feel it but you can't see it, or you see things on the corner of your eye. With Pluto, it can be more direct. But again, this is just in the case of paranormal only, because there's so much more when it comes to Pluto in the 4th house. But for this video only, that is mainly the type of energy you might see. So what do you think? Are the stars aligned for more paranormal activity in your life? Have you experienced any type of haunting or ghostly encounters, whether it be within your home or your workplace? I would definitely love to hear about it down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit a like and subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any future content. As always, thanks for watching, and stay spooky.